Right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Clickbait Coffee. We're going to let YouTube catch up because they're always a few seconds behind. Dana Russell is here first thing this morning, and Miss Hacks. Good morning, Patty. Swackham, good morning. Hey, guys. It is St. Patrick's Day, apparently, because my youngest son was like, hey, I've got to wear green today. And I was like, why? And he's like, it's St. Patrick's Day. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, I didn't know that. So, but apparently it is St. Patrick's Day. It's the 17th. And the weather, what did everybody get weather-wise? Patty, what did y'all get? Dane, I know what you got. You got about the same thing as us. We got some tornado warnings and stuff like that. But, yeah, the weather is like freaking bipolar as all get out. It's crazy. It's today I think the high is going to be like 32 or something like that. And then Sunday was like amazing. And then Sunday night it just comes in and the storm comes through. Morning, Greg Skeens. But I was watching Ryan Hall, and then of course, like the tornado warnings and everything went off, and for Warren County and stuff like that. And it's like, holy cow! And he was saying later on, he's like, yeah, he's like up north a little bit. Once this front comes through, it's like then they got blizzard conditions. I think Minnesota got like 20 some inches of snow or something like that. And I'm just like, holy crap, this is stupid. So good morning, local prepper. You on the road headed to North Carolina moving stuff, I bet. But yeah, Michael Osborne, good morning. Mama Bear, good morning. Cindy, good morning. And Miss Sharon, good morning, Miss Sharon. Greg said snow this morning and wrecks everywhere. Great. Let me see. Miss Hack, the dusting of snow and wind chill yesterday was -9, currently 12. Man. Swackham said snow, insane wind, and tornado warnings. Yeah, it's kind of weird. And then like yesterday, North Carolina and the East Coast got hit. That front that came on through. I know Ryan Hall was live doing some stuff on that. Patrick, good morning, buddy. It's been a hot minute since you jumped in, but good morning. But yeah, so the weather's crazy. It's not going to be super warm today. And the bad thing is I've got some countertops down in the shop that I got to put another coat of urethane on. So I'm going to have to go down to the shop, fire the wood stove up, and fire my propane heater up and get everything warm and keep it warm for like 24 hours so this urethane dries like it's supposed to. So that's the plan for later on after I pack some orders up. Well, probably when I get done with this, I'll go start warming the shop up and getting it warm, then pack some orders, let the shop get warm for several hours, and then start putting urethane on. So, because the guys are coming to pick those countertops up Thursday afternoon. So, but yes, the weather is crazy, all that kind of good stuff. My wife just texted me and she was like, gas is $3.79 a gallon right up the road. So I would like to thank Trump for getting the gas prices to go up probably about $1 a gallon, and diesel's floating somewhere around $5 a gallon right now. So everybody thank Trump for the war in Iran and getting gas prices to go up a bunch and the oil supply. But then when you really kind of look at that, like as soon as this war kicked off, they immediately raised gas prices. And it's like, dude, y'all are screwing the pooch on this. It's like that gasoline was already in there, that all this stuff was in the pipeline ready to come, and it did not cost you any more. The gas prices should have went up. Really, in my opinion, the gas prices should not have went up yet, just because it takes a long time to get all that stuff in the pipeline, and not like the physical pipeline, but the pipeline of coming through. So thank the gas companies too. And yeah, Patty says corporate greed. Stephanie, good morning. And then Hacks for the Homesteader, Darren. Yeah, nothing better than a warm shop. Yeah, I usually take in the shop. If I've got to get it warm, I will go in and start the wood stove and get a good fire going in it. And then I'll kick my propane heater on for a little bit until the wood stove has done kind of its job. And then I'll cut the propane heater off. But if I need to get it super, super warm, I will run the wood stove and my propane heater and I get it super warm. BS, good morning. And the Homestead twins, good morning. We're just digging out from the blizzard that rolled through. Eric, how much snow did y'all get? I saw like some crazy snow totals, what Ryan Hall was talking about the other night. So, but oh, all right. I've got a good news story. Usually Shelly does like a story on Wednesday nights. And by the way, Shelly is out of town this week, and she can't be on or something. And I've got a thing to do at church. We're taking the kids to the trampoline park, and I probably won't be back by 8 o'clock, so I'm probably just going to cancel tomorrow night. So we'll make it up to you. Maybe we'll do Sunday night, something like that. But yeah, so we won't do that. But what was I getting at? Oh, good news. I've got a good news article. Let me pull this up. All right. This was the other day. Their Old Dominion College in Virginia. Is a former Army National Guard member. He had spent 8 years in prison for attempting to aid the Islamic State. Opened fire on a classroom of ROTC students. So apparently that is not the good news. That is crappy news that he did that. But the little nugget in here is this is the person talking, and it says the students subdued him and rendered him no longer alive. And it says, Evan says, I don't know how else to say it. She confirmed that the shooter was not shot, but didn't provide any further details. So apparently the ROTC students that this guy opened fire on was unalived and everything. That is good news. That is people, the world might be healing because we had an active shooter. The people that were involved with it took matters into their own hands and unalived this guy. So I give praise to these ROTC kids. They did it, and that's what needs to happen. I mean, when you get somebody like that, they need to be unalived right then on site. Not let's go have a trial and all this stuff. It's like we already know you did this crap. We don't care if you're crazy or not. We need to just unalive you right now. And I think the world would be a lot better place with that. Mama Bear says they stabbed him multiple times. I heard. Yeah, I don't care if they stabbed him, if they stoned him, if they whipped him, if they beat him over the head with a chair like in WWE. Take it some way and do it. Let's see. Thank Trump for the gas prices not being even higher like is in Europe. $5 to $6 a gallon in New York State, even worse in California. Yeah, California, I think it was close to like $8 for some of that. And let's see. Eric said somewhere between 24 and 30 inches. Hard to tell because of the drifting. Some as high as 6.5 feet tall. Man, Eric, you can keep that. I don't want it. We had snow flurries yesterday. I was laying some tile, and I had my tile saw set up right outside of the garage. And, man, I would go out there, and it was just blowing flurries and everything else. Your hands were freezing cold because you're cutting with a wet saw. And I'm like, this is not fun whatsoever. Swack them. Sometimes trial by jury isn't the best thing. This was one of those times. Yeah. Well, honestly, in my opinion, he had a trial by jury. That was a jury of his peers, and they were the judge, jury, and executioner. So applaud those people for doing that. Well, also, I was looking at a news article, and let me find it. All right. Apparently, let me find it. All right. Where is it? All right. Apparently 200 Pilgrim, good morning. Apparently 200 service members have been wounded in the war with Iran. And then there's also, and the official truth death toll stands at 13 service members. I'm going to go on record and say that's 200 too many service members that have been wounded, and that's 13 too many people that have been service members that have been killed in this war with Iran. I do not support the war with Iran. I think we should have just stayed out of it personally. Yeah, they were threatening, death to the United States and all this kind of stuff. And they've got nuclear ambitions and all this. I mean, we kind of heard that story before, weapons of mass destruction somewhere, but I don't know. I don't think we should have started this war. I don't think we should be in this war. I don't think we should be, Israel's lapdog and just, the muscle behind it. They want to poke bears and stuff like that. And then they're like, hey, can you come in here and clean this stuff up? I don't think we should have been doing this. But the point of all this is 200 service members have been wounded, which is 200 too many. And then also 13 service members have been killed, which is 13 too many. We ought to just stay over here, mind our own business, and not really isolationist stuff, but I think we should isolate ourselves a little bit more. Mel, good morning. And then Mama Bear says, I reckon the real number is many multiple times higher. Yes, that is true. Jess, is it true the first responders get in KSL Festival for free? We did that. We did that a couple years ago. I don't know. Shelly and I have not talked about it. I tell you what, shoot me an email and then I will let you know. I know a couple years ago we did do that. I've not discussed it with Shelly, but shoot me an email and we can talk about that. And I will talk to Shelly. Hopefully I'll talk to Shelly today. I'm not sure if I'll be able to, but we will get you an answer on that. Honestly, we've not even talked about it. But they get red rolls in festival tickets. Festival tickets are on sale. The tickets are $45 for all 3 days, 3 days of awesome stuff. You can get your tickets on the website right now. And then also, if you want t-shirts and the swag for the festival, get that. When you buy your tickets for the festival, get your t-shirts and they're 10% off. And Jess, where did you see that? Where did you see that, honestly? Because we had done it a couple years ago. Where did you see that at? I would like to know. I don't know if Melanie put something like that on the website or something like that. Yeah, and Miss Hack said, be there, be square. And then Miss Sharon put a link up. She is amazing on that stuff. But yeah, if you buy your tickets, you can get your festival t-shirt for 10% off. So we've had a lot of people order shirts and stuff. I've got several of those that I'm waiting to get, and I got to ship those jokers out. Just said one of the ladies told me last year. Okay. So, but yeah, get your festival tickets. Oh, one other thing. We got the pig processing class this weekend, this Saturday. So if you've not gotten your tickets for that, you need to get your tickets. We're going to have it here at my place. We've got a very nice pig that we're going to put in the freezer. That pig is going to be alive in the morning, and it is going to be sausage and started to cure bacon and pork chops. And we're going to seal it up with our Vac Master chamber sealer and start putting it in the freezer. So if you've not got your tickets for that, you need to get it. It's going to be a nice small class. It's going to be cool. I mean, we're going to have enough pig for everybody to cut on. Everybody's going to get their hand at it. We're going to show you how to take this thing from alive and breathing that morning into the freezer by that afternoon. And I was talking to somebody about, learning skills and stuff like that. And it's like, this is some of the most important stuff that you're going to do. It's an investment in your knowledge and in your future. So many people want to get animals and stuff like that, and they're like, hey, how do I learn to do this? Or they're beholden to the processor. It's like, yeah, I got to load them up, I got to take them to the processor, I've got to get a date first. And during COVID, some of these processors were like, they're saying, yeah, we can get your animal in a year and a half. And so you're beholden to that. So it's, yes, you want to come out of the system. You want to come out of the matrix, and you're like, I want to be responsible for my own food and growing stuff. And growing stuff is great and everything. You got your garden, but then you've got, going out and picking tomatoes and picking your corn and digging potatoes and stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty easy to do. You don't need a workshop to show you how to do that. But if you're going to start raising your own animals, if you're going to start raising your own chickens, yes, you can go out. You don't need a class on how to collect eggs. But I don't know if some of these blue-haired people might need a class on how to collect eggs. But as far as processing your animals, processing your chickens, processing your pigs, you've already stepped out of the matrix and made a big step. And you're like, hey, I want to raise my own stuff. But then you're still beholden to the system of getting the animal processed. If you know how to process your own animals, then that's just another step of more financial or more security, more food security on your part. It's like, hey, I don't have to call the processor if we want to process these chickens on Saturday, if we want to process these pigs on Saturday. We've got the knowledge and the skill set on how to do it. And after you do it a while, it's like boom, 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 man, you're set and ready to go. So, I mean, it's nothing for Shelly and I to be like, hey, you want to process a pig this weekend? It's kind of like asking, hey, do you want to run to the Mexican restaurant and eat? It's like no big plans, nothing like that, because we've done it so many times. It's just an essential skill that we know how to do. And so, I mean, I'm telling you, do that, get your tickets to it. It's going to be a fun time. And this is just another skill that you need to know on stuff. Mel, we did do that one year. I'm pretty sure we did. I'm going to have to check with Shelly and see if we're doing it again. And Dana says, y'all just have to come help me when it's time to process my pigs. We have ladies' day at church and basketball game that day, and Dana won't be able to be here. And then also another thing that we're doing is we got the sheep processing workshop. That is going to be April 11th. We're going to do 2, possibly 3 sheep here at the house. Put those jokers in the freezer. Same thing. We're going to show y'all. They're going to be alive in the morning. They're going to be lamb chops and some ground lamb by that afternoon. That is always a nice class because usually we do 2, if not 3 lambs, so everybody gets their hands on it a little bit more. I mean, not that you're not going to get your hands on it Saturday. You'll get your hands on it for sure on Saturday. But that's April 11th, and then the radio workshop. Brian and Susan are coming up from Mississippi from S&B Homestead Radio. They are doing the radio workshop. This is going to be a fun workshop. I'm excited about it. We're actually going to get out, use the radios, play with them, see how far we can get with stuff, see what kind of ranges we're looking at, stick some antennas up in trees, and play around with that. It's always a fun time when Brian and Susan come up and we get to mess with radios. And then the last thing, our trauma management course, which is trauma medicine, chest seals, tourniquets, wound packing, shock treatment, nasal pharyngeal airways, all that fun stuff. We've got our class that we are offering. It's a KSL in-house class. We're offering it July 16th. That is the Thursday before the festival. You can get your tickets at the website. That class is a full day class and it's $200. I don't think you're going to find a better value for a full day class than that. So run over and check that out at the website and get your tickets for it. So that's what I've got on that. Now, let me see. BS is asking a question about kombucha. I think you can. I'm not 100% sure. Dana will be the authority on that. So, all right. We're going to look at it. The most important question to ask during a crisis. Let's look at it. Now, this crisis can be, I don't know. We can look at it as the crisis of, oh man, the paratroopers are coming down from North Korea. The little short North Koreans are parachuting down, or it can be an automobile accident, or it can be just any kind of stuff. This is not just end of the world stuff. This is a car wreck, stuff like that. The most important question you're going to ask in part of this. But, when people always think about emergencies, Newman, good morning. When people think about emergencies or disasters, they're usually focusing on the gear stuff too. So they think about things of like, hey, my food storage, my generators, my radios, my trauma kits, water filters, and those things matter too. But decision making is one of the biggest things, your most important thing. And the biggest question you should ask yourself is, what's the biggest problem right now? So, and people are going to panic, stuff like that. People are panicking. You don't have all the information. Emotions are running high. But that one question will cut through everything. And it's, what's the biggest problem right now? So we're going to look at that a little bit. When people, when there's an emergency that happens, people usually react within three ways. Typically, there's people that jump into action. They're like, boom, we're ready to go with this. Some people freeze up and they're just like, I don't know what to do. And then some people just panic and just run around like a chicken with its head cut off. So, that's kind of those three things that people do. And the thing is, your brain is trying to process what happened, what's the danger, and what to do next. Wing Mom, good morning. Thanks for jumping in here. And apparently Dana said, filtered spring or distilled water, as long as it's non-chlorinated with chromine. All right. BS, that got your question answered. So the question is, what's the biggest problem right now? Cindy, good morning. So that's the question you need to look, and you need to prioritize that. So, instead of thinking about 10 different things of all this stuff, if you see, if you see paratroopers falling from the sky and they've already shot somebody and it's like, oh, one of my buddies is bleeding. Are these guys falling from the sky more important than my buddy bleeding out right now? You've got to ask yourself, what's the biggest threat right then? So your biggest problem might be on some of this stuff. And this is all dependent on a lot of, we're not just going to pinpoint one crisis right now. We're just doing a broad, anything that could happen. If somebody injured, is there immediate danger right where I'm at? Do I need to get off the X? Yeah, swacking Wolverine time. Do people need to move to a safer spot? Do I need to get out? Do I need to get off the X and move to a safer spot? Has communication broken down? So finding that biggest problem is, the thing. It's like, what do we need to do first? And by identifying your biggest problem, that's going to tell you what you need to do first, because that's going to prioritize all this stuff. In emergency response training, people often, you kind of got to triage stuff. So you're looking at it. Doctors use triage. And triage is simply prioritizing problems based on what emergency is going on. So, it's funny. It's funny, and people say this all the time, and I've heard this before. It's like men and women will think about stuff different. Like if the house is on fire, I'm thinking, holy cow, I'm losing all this kind of stuff. And then, your wife is thinking, oh my gosh, the firemen are going to come in. They're going to see the dirty dishes from 2 days ago in the sink. So triage might be a little bit different between men and women. So just think about that. But the triage stuff, doctors use it. Emergency responders use it. Military medics use it. And it all applies. I use it in my contracting business too. It's like, what's the biggest problem today that we have to solve? And typically I try not to have too big of problems. So it's like, hey, we've got to solve this problem today, and then we'll work our way down. But some of the stuff that you got to look at is, and then some of the stuff that I want to do is, how is this crisis going to affect me? Also, once we've identified this big problem, it's like, how is this crisis going to affect me? You've got your immediate threat, something like an active shooter going on. Oh, the biggest problem is right now there's an active shooter. We need to eliminate that threat, or we need to get out of the area. So is it an immediate threat? Yes or no? If it's not an immediate threat, then you look at it as, hey, will this affect me sometime? Let's look at the war in Iran right now. Hey, how is this going to affect me? Well, gas prices shot up. So yes, it affected me today. We're paying more for gas right now. So that's one of the things. Cut V, good morning. So that's one of the things. Yes, it is a crisis, but how is it going to affect me, and what am I going to do about it? There's nothing I can do about gas prices. So, what are you going to do? Walk? I mean, I go ahead and I pull up at the place and get the gas and go on about my day. So we looked at that crisis. How is that going to affect me on that? L2 survive. Good morning. Uh, so now, will this crisis affect me in a week? So we look at that. Uh, maybe the tornadoes that came through the other night. We just had tornado warnings, but uh, the immediate threat on a tornado is, hey, we need to seek shelter so we don't get blown away. So your immediate threat on that is like, hey, get to your safe spot, get down in the basement to storm shelter, and ride the storm out. So then when everything passes and the next morning you can go out and be like, hey, we've got some trees down, we've got something like that going on. That's something that can affect you the next day, or it can affect you a week later. If you, hey, we're trying to clean all this crap up from the tornadoes and stuff. So how that's going to affect you in a week. Some of the stuff is this going to affect you in a month? We can look at it like the Strait of Hormuz is apparently closed. 20% of the oil comes through there. So, and then I was watching a video. Apparently, 20% of the oil comes through there, and then those Middle Eastern countries, like 80% of their food or something like that, comes through there. So, there's a lot of stuff that goes through the Strait of Hormuz, not just oil. So look at it. That's something that might affect us in a month, if shelves start going down, because a lot of stuff is made with oil. So if the oil supply gets cut back somewhat, then some of this stuff is not going to be on the shelves. I mean, you're looking at plastics, stuff like that. Lynn, good morning. So you're looking at plastics and all this. So some of that stuff might get cut back to where store shelves are going to be a little bit low on stuff. So the supply chain might cut out. And hey, guys, put in the comments what's the biggest problem that you see right now that you would have to take as far as preparedness stuff. I want to wake the comment section up. Y'all are doing good. But tell me the biggest problem that y'all see right now in preparedness, homesteading, and stuff like that. Because I want to talk about that, and tell me the biggest problem that you think we've got going on. But then you've also got to look at, hey, is this going to affect me in a year kind of thing? And then you've just got to triage this stuff. And it's like, hey, something's happening over here. How is this going to affect me? Is it going to affect me right now? Yes or no? And if it's no, then it's kind of like, we'll just go ahead and go on about it. And then you've got to look at it too. Is this going to affect me at all? Something that happens halfway across the world, everybody's in an uproar about it. And it's like, holy crap, this and this is going on. I'm looking at it like, that's probably not going to affect me at all. So why am I worried about it? So that's some of the triage stuff that I look at. Is it an immediate threat? What's going to happen with it? Do I need to get off the X and do something else? Or, hey, do I need to go stock up on so-and-so? I try not to panic buy stuff, but if I can see something, that's going to be in short supply, then, hey, we might buy a little bit more of this stuff. So so preparedness too is about thinking clearly. It's not just, holy crap, I've got all this stuff, I need to run in here and just start doing. It's about thinking clearly under pressure. We're going to triage a bunch of stuff and see what's going on. And this, the ability to think clearly and stuff like that is your experience, your training. You've got training on stuff. You've got medical training. You've got radio. You've got comms training. So if the grids, if communications is down, it's like, oh, we need to do something about this. Mental preparation and situational awareness. You're not when you walk out of the store, you don't just grab your phone and you're doing this on your phone as you're walking through there, because somebody might snatch you up in the parking lot. You've got situational awareness. You're looking around when you're at places. You've got your EDC with you and you're scoping stuff out. So look at stuff like that. And people who regularly think of potential problems are going to do a lot better, and they're going to handle stress better on that. So it's all just about preparedness and training stuff. So, and some of the real life stuff on it. if you've got a situation in a crisis and somebody has life-threatening bleeding going on, you're going to stop them from bleeding. You're going to whip out your IFAC, your everyday carry medical stuff. You're going to stop the bleeding on that. But that comes back to training. Do you know how to do that stuff? Have you been to a class and learned how to do it? That's one of the things with training. Get to know how to do it. You know, if you got the storms, like the storms that rolled through Sunday night, it damages your house and the power goes out. Your immediate threat right there and your biggest problem right there is safety and shelter. So you've got to know what to do. You've got to have a place that you're going to be safe and that you're going to be sheltered. You know, if half your house is gone, it's like, hey, this is not tenable. We need to go to the neighbor's house, or we need to figure something out. Maybe the shop is there. Tina, good morning. And Emily, good morning. Let's see. Heard Austria, Germany went up €2. Is that gas? I guess it is. So, Tina, good morning. You're late, but you're good. Greg New, good morning. So one thing for the people that just jumped in. What's the biggest problem you see right now that we're facing as preparedness people, as a country, anything like that? And then we're going to run through the comments here in just a minute. So, yeah. So your house has become untenable. Can you go to your shop for the night to stay safe and stay secure and out of the storm? You know, if roads are blocked by bunches of trees and it's taking power lines down and there's no power, so now the cell towers aren't working, do you have a way to communicate? Do you have not just having the radios, but do you have the skills on how to use those radios? And then also, if a big storm blows through and it takes your antennas out, it's like, ooh, do we know how to set up an expedited antenna? Because these little jokers are nice, but the range on these things is not near as good as a base station with an external antenna. So the storm blew through and it blew a tree over and your antenna got knocked out. You're like, oh, can we set up an expedited antenna? Brian and Susan are going to show you at the radio workshop how to set up expedited antennas instead of just relying on your small little whip antenna. That's some of the stuff. All your situations can be kind of different. And all the situations, what you've got to look at is what's the most important thing right this second? What's the biggest problem that's in front of me? So let's look at the chat. And Mama Bear says, in a crisis, you have to already be mentally prepared. So there's some kind of automatic, some key automatic considerations. Yes, you kind of got to think some of this stuff through and think about stuff and have some mental preparations going. Don't just be like, oh, well, you know, something might happen. We'll do this. It's like kind of have somewhat of a plan. For example, your instinct may be able to rush to action, but if you get yourself in a pickle, it could delay help for the problem you originally wanted to solve. Yeah, exactly. And then also too with that, when we teach some of our AED and CPR classes, one of the biggest things is if somebody is down and you see them down, it's like you don't just rush right on in. You have to talk about and think about scene safety. You know, if a guy in a factory situation, if a guy's laying on the floor, there could be a lot of stuff going on. Maybe he got electrocuted, maybe the floor's wet. So as soon as you run in there and maybe touch this guy, you might get shocked and then you're down too. And now they're having to deal with two people, you know, that are injured. Or there might be some kind of chemical spill and he passed out. So you rush in there and then boom, you're breathing the chemicals in there. So look at that. That's one of the things. Don't just rush in. Assess the scene to see if it's safe or not. Then Pilgrim, supply chain issues incoming. Yeah, and that is. I was watching that video and there's a ton of stuff. I mean, the guy was like, you know, we run on oil, and which is true. We run on oil. You know, not just for vehicles and stuff like that, but for plastics, and oil is in all kinds of different stuff that we use every day. So supply chain issues are going to be a bigger thing. And then it just keeps going up. I mean, it, you know, fuel, especially diesel fuel, is going up. So then all these products are going to go up. It's costing more to fill these semis up and get the product to the store shelves. So it's all going to go up. And then some of these people are going to cut back and be like, man, hey, my toilet paper went up $1 a roll or $1 a pack and stuff like that. And it's like, ooh, you know, prices already suck. So look at that. It's just going to keep getting higher and higher and higher. Let me see. Cuckbee says weather, fuel prices, fertilizer cost, and availability. Yeah. And I guarantee, you know, fertilizer is going to go up. I mean, I don't know. Somebody was talking about it, how fertilizer has went up. I don't ever use fertilizer. If we use it, we use just a little bit. So it's like, oh, it went up a little bit. Okay, we'll go ahead. But yeah, the weather, and it seems like they're spraying all the time, and they're, you know, causing these manufactured storms. Look at it. I don't remember times when we got stuff like this all the time. I mean, I think they're manufacturing the weather. And how weird is it that on Sunday, you know, afternoon, it's like 70 degrees or something like that. And in the span of like 8 hours, it drops down to like 30 degrees and there's a blizzard conditions behind it. I think all this stuff is manufactured. But yeah, Cuck V, weather is going to be a big thing, especially with them manipulating the weather. I mean, they're doing it all the time. That's a known fact. They're doing it. It would be nice if they would stop, honestly. And then fuel prices are just going to cause everything to keep coming up. Let's see. Mama Bear, biggest problem, cultural mentality of individualism, materialism, and self-centeredness, plus complacency, ignorance, and helplessness. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it is. It's like people are complacent about stuff. They're just like, oh, well, you know, the government's going to come help me kind of thing. It's like you need, and you know, you're helpless and everything. People don't know what's going on in the world. But now I am big on it. Know what's going on in the world, but don't get wrapped around the axles on everything that's going around. Look in your general area. You know, just like the war in Iran, there's not a daggum thing I can do about that. But the leash ordinance that they're trying to push through, I can do something about that. And I've done some stuff about it. I sat in on a meeting. I got people aware of it. They were calling their magistrates and everything like that. So look at that. Don't get wrapped around the axles too much on the big picture. Look at your smaller picture and what you can help control. Let me see. L2 survive. Everyone will panic and buy up all the toilet paper. Will it affect me in the next year? No. I have 3 years worth in a shipping container. Yeah. So that's some of the stuff. You got to look at it. It's like, how is this going to affect me right now? And if you know that you've got something that you use on the regular and it might become scarce, it's like, get some more of that stuff and have a nice supply of it, especially if you know you're going to be using it. Don't go out and max your credit cards out on that stuff, but buy a little bit of extra stuff. Let's see, Newman. Biggest problem I see in preparedness is people are super focused on stuff and not gaining skills and training with gear. Can only store, take, and so much with you. Skills are highly adaptable and portable. Yeah, I mean, you can fit so much stuff up here in your brain. And like I said before, if you need to delete a few things, delete how to solve algebra equations that you learned in, you know, whatever, 5th grade math class. Or another good thing that you could delete if you need some more room in your noggin is delete all the fake history that they taught you in school. So that would be a great thing to do. So delete some of the crap that they taught you in history class that's not true. And something funny about that. Okay, my youngest son is 10, and they had to do a Kentucky notebook. So we were flipping through this Kentucky notebook that they had to do, and then it had a picture of Governor, you know, Dandy Andy. It had a picture of him, and it says your Kentucky governor, and it says make a list of the best things about your governor and stuff that he's done. And I looked at my wife, and my wife looked at me, and Lincoln looked at us, and I said, the best thing we can say about our governor right now is this is his last term. And My son absolutely started belly laughing. He goes, "Can I really write that?" And I was like, "Yeah, write it." So he wrote the best thing about our governor in his Kentucky notebook, that this was he was serving his last term. And I don't know if the teacher thought that was funny or not, but I'm kind of waiting to see. But it was funny when that happened. Let's see. Dana said, as of Saturday, 2 of the 3 gas stations in my area were out of unleaded gas. So things are already being affected. Dang. I filled up yesterday at the IGA, not a problem one. Honestly, I look. I don't even remember what the gas price was. My whole thing is I don't look at the gas price. I know it went up, but it's like, what are you going to do? Walk kind of thing. I've got to have a vehicle to be able to drive around to do stuff. So it's like, yeah. And there was no big problem. I hadn't seen anybody out. I need to run by Rich Pond Hardware and check and see if they're out of anything. Let's see. Stephanie said skills training is a big need. Having stuff but not knowing what to do with it or practicing using it is a problem. It needs to be automatic. Yeah, exactly. And just like processing your animals, it's almost automatic. It is no big deal for us to go down and do a pig. I mean, heck, if Shelly called me right now and I didn't have a bunch of stuff to do and she's like, "Hey, we need to process a pig today," man, I would jump in there and we could process this pig. It's almost automatic. Everybody knows what to do. We know how to skin that pig. We know how to do all of it. Get the guts out of it and start cutting pork chops. It's like it's almost automatic, and that's where all your skill training needs to come into. Just like skill training on putting a tourniquet on. Do you know how to do it? Have you practiced with your tourniquet? And you've bought tourniquets, you bought IFACs, all that stuff, but do you have a tourniquet that you practice with? If somebody yelled left leg, would you just freeze up and be like, "Oh, I don't know how to do that. Hey, I've got all the stuff, but do I know how to put that thing on?" It's like practice with that thing. And another thing, if you're going to be practicing with the tourniquet, you need your tourniquet that you carry that you're going to use in real life, and then you need a tourniquet to practice with. And you need to write practice on that one tourniquet, because you don't want to be stretching that tourniquet out all the time and using it. You want to use it just for training. Hardnack Farms, good morning. Glad to see you in here. Let's see. Yeah, and Dana, 100% knowledge is power. And Wing Mom, the biggest issue are the unprepared. They have nothing, no skills, no preps, and no common sense. Yeah, and that is going to be a big thing. Is like, oh, you're not prepared. I've told you. My whole stance on it is right now I will help people learn how to do this stuff. If somebody wants to talk to me about, I don't know, about raising pigs or growing comfrey or doing some kind of medical stuff, I will talk to you and answer your questions, as long as you are starting to walk down that path. If I talk to you the first time and I'm like, and you want to talk about stored food, and this is if the people have money to buy food storage and stuff like that. And it's like, hey, I want to talk about food storage. I will talk to you, set you down on a plan to get going on that. And then the next time we talk, I'm like, hey, how's the food storage going? And you're like, oh man, we've got a week and a half of food stored up that we eat and actually use. And we're going to go, now we want to get a month. And I'm like, cool, let's talk about it a little bit more. But if I come back to you and I'm like, hey, how's the food storage thing going? You're like, well, we talked about it. I hadn't done it yet. I'm like, okay, let's talk about this again and let's get you going on it. If after the second time they've not put any effort in, I'm done. I'm not going to talk to you about it anymore, because I have more people that I can talk to that are actually going to do this stuff and take what we teach them and run with it. Those are the people I'm going to invest in. But after 2 times of talking to you, if you've not done anything, it's like, cool, bro, I'm done. Go do your own thing. You're wasting my time, because there are other people that want to know how to do this. I love it nothing more than when somebody comes down for a workshop and they'll send us pictures and it's like, hey, we did this. We put in a food forest, or we put in, we processed our own chickens next year, or hey, we got some pigs and we butchered our own pigs. That thrills me. Yeah, I mean, it just makes me feel so good. It's like these people came. There's some of the small percentage that come to stuff They want to learn, and they actually take that knowledge back, and use it. See, Cut B said gasoline went to $3.99 by 2 stations I drive by on the way to work yesterday. Yeah, like I said, my wife told me that it's $3.79 right up the road. I'm going to look when I drive by IGA here in a little bit and see what it is. I didn't even pay attention yesterday. Cut B, as long as the weather is good, I can climb to the top of my dad's 75-foot tall harvest silo. That'll extend the range of the Baofeng. Yeah. Hey, Cut V, you need to put a nice antenna up on that thing and run some good cable down. And man, you can get some good range out of that joker for sure. If you had a nice antenna on top of that silo and run some real good cable down and put you a base station close, I would kill for that. That or put a repeater up there. A repeater would be amazing up on top of that thing. Then you would own a lot of area that way. Yeah. Hardnack Farms. Hey, I appreciate you being here, and they're new in the live. But I appreciate you. How did you find out about us? I would like to know that. But Miss Sharon is the most amazing moderator. She takes care of people. So how did you hear about the channel? I would like to know that. Let's see. Yesterday in Oklahoma, they are spraying. We have massive winds every day, watching from Guthrie, Oklahoma. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna watch the sky today and see if they spray anything. Who knows? Who knows? They probably will. And Newman says we're entering a grand solar minimum. Breakdown of Earth's magnetic atmosphere will increase. Yeah, it's going to increase the weather variability too. Growing crops above 40 latitude will be much harder. Yeah, that, and then also comms it's gonna play a big thing in comms. You got to watch that. So, and then also growing crops too. When they're spraying all this stuff in the sky, that is going to affect a lot of stuff too. And Miss Sharon says, knowing the difference in urgent and important. Yeah, exactly. Is there something urgent that we need to do, or is this important? There's differences in stuff. And then also remember, someone's emergency or someone's lack of planning on their part is not an emergency on my part. And you've got to remember that too. It says we are fighting solar farms, wind turbines, biosolids, turnpikes, geoengineering, corrupt local government, and carbon capture. Yeah. They're going to hit you from all sides. That's one of the things. And that's one of the things about the government and all this stuff is they've got infinite amounts of money and they can just hit you from every side. And you're just like, holy crap, what's the most important thing that we need to do? So, Hardnack, that's one of the things. Spell out what's more important to us. Is it more important for us to fight these solar farms right now or fight the biosolids or the turnpikes? I mean, L2, SolarGen, a solar company, is having their bankruptcy auction next week all over the country. One of the locations is right next to me. I'm about to spend way too much money on solar stuff. Hey, that would be cool. Hey, I want to write that down. All right. I wonder if some of that stuff's online. L2 Survive. Dana says, I buy 2 of everything. 1 for now, 1 to store. Over time, you build a nice stock of items you and your family use. Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah. Yeah, last term before he tries to run for president. I know it. Who knows? He's going to try, and I tell you what, he is pandering to the LGBT people. I mean, just flat out bootlicking those people. I mean, every time you see it, he's talking about LGBT stuff and having all this pride crap going on and all this stuff. But yeah, he's going to make a run for president. I tell you what, him and Pete Buttigieg need to run together because I think both of them about half queer anyway. So they need to run together and be Dumb and Dumber running for president. Let's see. Oklahoma governor sold us out on the green energy deal. Yeah. Green energy, in my opinion, massive solar farms and massive wind turbines are not the way to go. I think the way to go on it is small scale solar stuff. You know, having, and you look, whatever tornado came through and tore up all these solar farms somewhere. I mean, those solar farms are toast, and you've got that much energy that is gone, you know, until they get this built back up. I think small scale solar on people's houses is the way to go, on their houses or out in their front yard, because then if something comes through, yes, it's torn their solar stuff up, but it is not taking out acres and acres of solar things. And then plus, when you're taking that nice land and just putting solar panels on it, it's like, man, that's the only thing the land can do. The only other thing it's doing, I don't even know if you could graze sheep and goats down through there, because they'd probably get in the wires and everything else. But yeah, small scale solar is where it is. Bigger scale solar and wind is not the way to go. Oh yeah, Whitmer's in her last term. Man, she's a commie as all get out. Swackham paid $316 yesterday when I fill up. I think I paid $379. I'm not 100% sure. Greg says gas went up 80 cents yesterday in Louisville. I guess it's good I have my horse. It's gas source. If gas sources run dry, I'll still have my transportation. That is the only way I would have a horse. And that's period. I despise horses. I've always despised horses ever since I worked for the vet when I was in high school. And I was like, I despise horses and I don't want one, but it would be kind of cool to have the horse. Miss Sharon got gas for $3.49. Patty says regular's $3.29. Then Greg says, I know a guy that's some great medical gear for sale. Also, coincidentally, he provides complete medical training. Yes, we've got the trauma management course. That's going to be coming up July 16th. That's Thursday before the festival. So if you want to get tickets for it, get tickets for it. It is on the website. Let's see. Some grocery stores here in Oklahoma, they still cannot get supplies from the winter storm that was supposed to hit us. Darn. Yeah, and I think somebody said something, was doing a video. It's like, hey, they're manufacturing all these storms and then super hyping these storms up to where everybody's going to go in and just buy tons of stuff. They're going to buy tons of generators, tons of gasoline, tons of solar generators, tons of food that they're not going to eat. And it's like, quote, stimulating the economy. So I was watching some guy that was talking about that, and I'm like, there might be a smidge of truth in that for sure. Hardnack says, I need more solar and batteries to get the geothermal greenhouse off grid so we can grow year round. That sounds cool. Check, I don't know, you might check out at SoulGen that Cut V was talking about. You might be able to get some stuff there. I'm working with a couple places trying to get some sponsors for the festival. So we're going to see about that. And then Wing Mom says gas is $3.59 this morning. Let's see. Stephanie says gas was $3.49 at Kroger here in Jackson when I passed this morning. That's up over $1 from last week. Yeah, it is. Hardnack says, I forgot high transmission lines and data centers. I am for solar on our own lands. Also, we're fighting to end property tax and have our data. Yeah, that would be great if they cut property tax. I would love to see them cut property tax off, because with property tax, you can pay your farm off, but if you don't pay the taxes on it, they're going to sell it at the courthouse steps pretty soon. So you're still just renting it. You're still a slave to everybody. Let's see. BS says the biggest crisis, in my own opinion, right now is overreach of government. V8 is getting bad. Yeah, Virginia is getting pretty bad from what I've seen on that. But yeah, government overreach. Government overreach has been, every time you look at it, they're doing something different. They're trying to grab this. Just like the county here, it's like, oh, it's a leash law. But then they put in all kinds of stuff about livestock animals and everything. And it's like, hey, you're trying to pass some big crap here. We're not going to do this. But yeah, the government overreach in Virginia, Virginia is getting bad with all their gun stuff and everything. And I've not kept up with it, but I know they're trying to outlaw all kinds of crap. And I tell you, if I lived in Virginia, I would be out quick. Then Greg says, you have to remember that gas is still significantly cheaper than it was during almost the entire Biden regime. Yeah, that is true for sure. I mean, I remember, I forgot. And I think, honestly, it's kind of temporary. I mean, I think once all this gets settled down, gas will come back down. But remember, gas goes up way faster than it comes down is one of the big things. So we'll be paying for it for a while. Hardnack says we have legislation right now to end property tax. That would be awesome. I would love to see that happen nationwide. Swackum. I have a headline yesterday that said grocery prices are expected to rise with the rise in diesel prices. Yeah, I mean all that stuff is tied together. As soon as diesel prices go up, all your grocery prices are going to go up. I mean, your prices on everything will go up. I mean, prices on grocery stuff are going to go up. Prices on toilet paper are going to go up. Prices on medicine are going to go up. I mean, prices on prices on chicks. If you're buying chicks from Tractor Supply, they're going to go up. Everything revolves around diesel fuel in the United States because most of it is brought in on a truck, on a semi truck. So everything's going to go up. The pen is going to go up in price. I mean, heck, your shipping charges are going to go up. I mean, I don't doubt that on our website, shipping prices will go up, when we get quotes for shipping and stuff like that, because it always varies. It's all built in. And when people do it, UPS sets the rate. So the rates are probably going to go up just a little bit. We'll just kind of have to see. When states go completely left hard, it's because good conservatives stay home on election day. There are not as many crazy people there. Yeah, as lazy people. Yeah, I mean, you do. It is. There are a bunch of lazy people that are like, oh, my vote doesn't matter. And especially in smaller local elections and state elections, it matters a heck of a lot more than on the national thing. So, I mean, heck, there might be in counties you have 30,000 people in a county and only like 1,000 people go vote. So your vote might matter a whole lot more in that small county election than it's going to do in a national election. But yeah, part of it is lazy people. 100%, Greg. Mama Bear, we are very upset. What are we upset about? Are we just upset about the whole government situation, or just everything and all the crap we have to deal with? Newman says solar is excellent at small scale for homes and homesteads, like all green tech thus far, other than nuke. It does not scale and remains dependent on conventional power to start up and back. Yeah, and I'm all about people throwing all kinds of solar panels and having batteries and everything else at their house and producing as much stuff as they can. That's the way solar works, in my opinion. Hardnack. We have patriot groups and we have new folks in office fighting. People are sick of overreach and big government. We're all fighting to get more folks in the office. Yeah. That's the way you got to do it. You got to start doing that and doing it that way. And let me see. Yeah. And local preppers, Virginia sucks. I'm moving out. Yeah. He's running to his place in North Carolina. And I don't blame him. If I lived in Virginia, I would cut on out of Virginia for sure. We also need to grow wheat, legumes, things they're not able to get, or if it's contaminated. That would be cool. Grow the stuff inside and get all the crap. If you could grow stuff in a greenhouse or a hoop house, you're a lot better off than all the crap that's not falling from the sky every day. LP, Greg's trying to get you to move to Tennessee. I'm in Virginia, but not a resident, thanks to Big Navy. 11 months until you retire, waiting on retirement orders. And then Newman is going to move over here to Kentucky, closer to us. After she gets out in 11 months, we're going to find her a spot, and she's going to move to Kentucky and hang out with us. Wingman, eventually solar and battery backups fail and need to be replaced. We'll never be totally self-sufficient. Yeah, true, 100%. I mean, you're always going to have to have some kind of backup and rely on stuff, and you're going to have replacement stuffs. Okay, Mama Bear. Virginia gun laws are what we're upset about. Yeah. You are not the only person. I mean, it is stupid some of the stuff they're doing. I don't know. If it was me, like I said, I would just move out of Virginia. I'd be like, I'm done with this crap. It's probably not going to get any better, and just scoot on. Bill showed up. Good morning, Bill. Oh yeah. And then I did see that BS. It's funny how they provided an exemption to exempt themselves from their own laws. Let me see. Dana says all my raised beds can convert to 10x4 mini hoop houses if I need to protect them from what's being sprayed. That's awesome. I mean, you could do that, fix some kind of quick little thing. That's a great idea, Dana. And Newman does love Kentucky. BS, thanks for jumping in. I appreciate you. All right. Guys, that is all I've got for the day. I've got a bunch of stuff I've got to do. We've been on here an hour. Guys, I appreciate y'all a bunch. Get your festival tickets. Run to the website, pick up your festival tickets. There are going to be a ton of people there. I've still got people to add that I have not had a chance to add yet. But get your festival tickets. If you need any first aid kits, trauma kits, vehicle bags, anything like that, everything is in stock, ready to go. We can get it shipped to you quick. Hopefully Comfrey will come back in soon. We are out of it right now. I'm waiting for some of it to grow to where we can get it out. But guys, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have an amazing time. If you need anything, shoot me an email and I will talk to y'all soon, and I will see y'all Friday morning. Y'all have an amazing time. See you.